In this video, we're gonna look at sales, listings, we're gonna touch on mortgages, rates, renewals, approvals. My name's Glenn Feldstein with the Next Door Real Estate Group at Engel & Volkers, Vancouver. If you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or relocating to Vancouver, or just have questions about our market, all of my contact information is below. Generally speaking, spring is our busiest time of year, but this year, our spring market has started off a little bit slow. January is usually really slow, but this year it was quite active, as well as February. And March was a little bit quiet, but April is looking really good. So let's dive into some numbers here, starting with East Vancouver, which is where I live. Starting with single family homes, new listings were up 31% compared to last month, being February, and sales were up 22%. Moving into the attached properties, your condos, your townhouses, your duplexes, listings were about the same, down 1%, but sales were up 10%. In looking at single family homes in the west side of Vancouver, listings were up just 2% and sales were down 4%. So there's not very much change there from March to February. And then moving into your condos, townhouses, and again, duplexes, listings were up 8% and sales were up 20%. So as you can see, there was certainly some more activity in the single family home market in East Vancouver, whereas the west side of Vancouver saw a little bit more activity in the attached market. Now, when looking at Greater Vancouver as a whole, the total number of listings on the market are up 22.5%, which is 6.5% above the 10-year average. So yes, there are more listings for buyers to choose from, and there's also less sales happening in some areas, which is causing the listings to pile on a little bit. So why are there less sales happening? I think there's a couple reasons. Interest rates for sure is one, and we'll touch on that in a second. And also there was a lot of people that moved in 2020 and 2021 that normally wouldn't have. So there were so many transactions during that time, so many people moving. Now, if we took all those numbers and sprinkled it out over the last couple years, things would probably be fairly average from what our market's used to. Now, getting into interest rates. Now, I know there are a handful of people, or there are people that are very focused on interest rates and are waiting for those rates to come down. Now, a word of caution, when rates come down, prices are going to go up. So right now, the buying environment, now this is for a buyer or seller, because most of you who are selling a property are buying a property, it's not that competitive. Having said that, in any market, there are always going to be those really attractive, hot properties that will generate multiple offers that will become quite competitive. But generally speaking, the climate for buying a property right now is pretty good. So if you're ready to make a purchase right now, you've got a secure job, your finances are in order, just be careful if you're planning on waiting for that lower rate. I'm not suggesting that you rush into anything, but what I am suggesting is if you're looking for a lower rate, just be prepared. That could come with a higher price and more competition, which nobody really as a buyer wants to be in those situations. Make sure you sit down with a mortgage broker or somebody from your bank before you start looking at properties. If you want to go check out some open houses out of curiosity, by all means, go ahead. But before you start seriously looking, you need to speak with a mortgage broker. You need a proper pre-approval in place. Now, there's a lot of options when it comes to mortgages. So they're gonna have to talk to you about what your intention is with this property, how long do you plan on living there. They're gonna have to look at your current circumstances to best advise you. Now, some people are going with a 3-year fixed rate because at the end of that 3 years, when they renew or refinance, rates will likely be lower. Some people are even going back into a variable right now. And of course, a 5-year fixed rate is lower than a 3-year fixed rate, but that's just because the banks want to keep you for that 5 years. But maybe that's right for you. Maybe you want to know exactly what your payment's going to be for the next 5 years. There's a lot to consider, and you want to make sure, again, you've got that approval in place. We sold a listing very recently, and we had 2 accepted offers. Both offers fell through due to financing. And I'm also hearing that around the office and amongst my colleagues where deals are falling apart because the buyer's not able to get a financing. They're not able to remove their condition to financing. So why is this happening? It could be a number of reasons, But one of the reasons that it's happening is because buyers don't have a proper approval in place. So please do that. You're gonna save yourself a lot of time, stress, and angst. Now, if you already own a property and you have a mortgage and your term is up in less than 12 months, reach out to your mortgage broker. If you don't have one or if you've lost contact with them, reach out to me and I can put you in touch with somebody and start having that renewal conversation early. Don't just sign the renewal that the bank sends you. So even if you're 6 months out from your renewal, start having those conversations now. The market is always shifting and changing, and it's very important to understand what's going on in your local market so you can always make an informed decision when the time comes and avoid the blanket statements in the media, because our market, our neighborhoods, price points, property types, they all perform very differently, so you need to make sure you're getting specific information for your personal circumstances and for the property that you own. If you want that specific information, please reach out. All my contact information is below. I'm more than happy to help. If you found this video helpful or interesting, please give it a like and subscribe to make sure you're kept up to date on what's happening in the Vancouver real estate market. I'll see you next time.